Hey friends, Jim Rhoads here with the Octane group. Listen, I'm just out getting some exercise today, really enjoying the peace and quiet, and just taking the opportunity to record some information to be able to share out there on our YouTube channel. And I want to take this opportunity to talk about what we believe in and kind of who you'd be hiring if you made the decision to hire Jim Rhoads and the Octane group. Um, I always say when it comes to hiring a consultant, we'll tell you if you reach out to us and you're looking to get in the buy here, pay here business, depending on your situation and needs, if we're not the right solution for you, we'll certainly tell you. But I think it's important to understand my background and kind of, who I am and what I stand for so that you can make a better judgment as to whether or not we're the right firm for you. And certainly you'd want to talk to our references at some point who could better speak to, our character and our level of experience and expertise in the buy here, pay here space. But I think the thing I would ask you to understand about my background is my experience runs pretty deep in this particular space in subprime auto financing. A little background first. I was a partner in a business when I was 24 years old. Through that experience, I learned the benefits of a partnership and obviously some of the challenges of having partners in your business. I still remember the lessons of that experience. That business was profitable, but ultimately the disagreement amongst partners caused us to split that business up. I went a different direction. I went into the retail and sporting goods business, and ultimately in '95, I stepped into the franchise business. That business was good to me. I made a good living in the franchise world, but I ultimately, I worked in management for a time, but that group that I was working with invited me into the buy here, pay here business to open a dealership in Oklahoma in 1995. So I stepped into that business again. At that time, I was, early in my career. My kids were young, and boy, did I love the buy here, pay here business. It really was a great fit for me. Customers were much easier to work with. The dealership closed earlier than I was used to in the franchise world, and it was just a great fit for me and my particular background. So I've been in buy here, pay here ever since. That was 1997, and I've been in at some level ever since. In 2000, the company that provided us software and some training invited me to join their team of consultants. So in 2000, I picked my family up and moved to Florida and began to do consulting with that group. Within a fairly short time, I was named the director of the training consulting department. That company was a software company, was their primary revenue, but they also had consulting division and operational consulting. So I stepped into that particular role, and I began to travel all over the country as a consultant, specifically in the buy here, pay here space. With the work that I did back there and the work that I've done since as an independent consultant, I've now been in 26 states professionally, calling on specifically buy here, pay here, and that means some very large finance companies, some very large finance operations and buy here, pay here operations. I've also been in some very small ones. And I often say that when I go out and do those visits, I tend to learn as much as I teach. I've shared many times a story about, I remember calling on a particular dealership group and they had 4 locations, and I'd been working with them for some time, pulling their data and working through their management reports and kind of seeing the comparative information. But it wasn't until I visited their dealership and had a chance to spend a day in each one and work with the manager and listen to the conversations that their staff had with customers that I began to understand why location number 1, for example, ran higher delinquency than location number 2, or why location number 3 consistently outsold the others. You just learn when you're in there and observe, what it is they're doing, that you begin to learn what the practices are that translate into difference in the numbers on the page. And so those are things that I really lean on heavily as a consultant. I had somebody share not long ago in a message group this idea that they would only hire a consultant who was running a successful dealership, and that's the only one they would you choose to take information from. And that's okay. I understand where that comes from. I just think that, in my experience, I owned a dealership myself with a finance company attached, and I did that for 7 years. We had a lot of success. We also ultimately closed that dealership in failure, and it wasn't so much that the buy here, pay here dealership failed. It's just that I used money off of the buy here, pay here operation to open another dealership. That dealership failed, and it ultimately took down my buy here, pay here operation. It's okay. I was very busy in consulting at the end of that and just kind of of pivoted in my career and chose to become a consultant. But, I think people need to hear that, in my own entrepreneurship circles, and I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm in a group back in Salt Lake City where I have some very successful entrepreneurs that are part of my, network. And, many of them talk about successes and failures. It's part of entrepreneurship. It's part of business. We're not always successful all the time. If I've got somebody that's always successful, I'm suspicious about that. They're probably either very, very new, in the business, or young. But the other problem I have with only hiring a consultant who's only running a successful operation is that means they're probably going to teach you their way of doing business. And my experience has been that, of the clients I put in business over the years, how they chose to do business, it varies. And that's because I often say when I'm starting a dealership that the people that I work with, the dealer principal, the owner, founders, I have to have conversations with them that are much like conversations you and I would have if we went to a financial planner and wanted to plan our investment strategy and build up our retirement account over years. Then those conversations would go along the lines of, what's your timeline? What age are your kids? When are we going to be putting them through college? And, what do you want your retirement to look like? And so when I come to Buy Here, Pay Here, I bring that same approach, and I say, what do we need this business to do for you? What do you want it to look like in a year? What does it need to look like in 3 years? How much capital are we prepared to put into it? And, what's the timeline that we need to recover that capital? Point being that it's not a one-size-fits-all situation in Buy Here, Pay Here. I can help a dealer build most any kind of dealership that will satisfy what it is that they're looking for out of Buy Here, Pay Here. But I have to first know that. And so then at that point, it's not about Jim and Octane. And we certainly teach some fundamental things that'll apply with any dealership, but it's not about teaching you only one way to be in the Buy Here, Pay Here business. It's estimated there are 22,000 Buy Here, Pay Here dealerships out there. And guess what? They don't all do business the same way. And many of them are very successful. So it's more about helping a client choose the business model that's right for them. And most of them wouldn't choose the model that I chose in my own dealership back then. So again, it's not about Jim and Octane and what I teach or what I chose to do as a dealership. It's about helping dealers achieve what it is that they want to achieve. And so if I were looking for a consultant, I would look for somebody who's been honest about successes and failures, who's learned from both, and can ultimately help you build a business that would achieve what it is you're looking for out of the business, and not try to have somebody teach me to do their business model. So, this is just kind of the way I feel about being a consultant. And, I often say, you know what it takes to be a consultant? You jump online and go to Vistaprint and you print some business cards that say consultant. Congratulations, you're a consultant. So, it's not about the name. It's about what experience do you have? Have you been inside successful operations? Can you teach me best practices? Can you teach me what works? And that's definitely the approach that I bring to consulting. And again, I know my references will verify that, our experience is great for people launching in the Buy Here, Pay Here business. If you're looking to turn around an operation, we can typically help do that as well. And so we just know who we can help. And if we're not the right firm for you, we're going to say so. We're going to refer you to somebody who can better help you in your particular situation. So we think that's who you should be looking for as a Buy Here, Pay Here consultant. So thanks for your time. Hope this helps you to better understand, what Jim Rhoads is all about, and what the Octane Group believes in. So we would love to be your consultant if you're about to move on the Buy Here, Pay Here space, or if we can help you grow or otherwise improve your Buy Here, Pay Here operation. So thanks for tuning in. You can learn much more about the Octane Group and what it is that I teach within that company by just following us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us over on Facebook. I would recommend you join the BHPH Success Group. We share a lot of information in there as well. So again, this is the best place to learn what it is that we teach and what it is that we recommend. So again, thanks for joining. Hope you found this useful.